So what are you seeing in your rear view? Welcome back once again to Spirituality with a Spin. I am Ryan Keys, your host. It might be a little hard to hear me, and I apologize, but for today's topic, I wanted to get outside. I wanted to get into the world. Somebody asked me a question. How do you know when you're waking up? And my answer to them was, the answer is always in the asking. When you ask the very question, your answer is sitting right inside of it. Like I had stated in my intro video, somebody had asked me a question, Ryan, how do I know if I'm ascending? How do I know if I'm waking up? And then what does that mean? That's what prompted this video. That's why I'm going to talk a little bit about the 3 dimensions, 3D, 4D, 5D. These are the things that are the topics that people are talking about when it comes to ascension. I told that person, I said, first and foremost, always whenever you ask an intuitive question, think your answer is in what you're asking. If you are asking a question right now, Ryan, what's waking up mean? What does ascending mean? It means that you asking the question are beginning your ascension. Just the very principle of you beginning to ask means that you're looking outside your own experience. Now, how does that affect twin flames, soulmates, and divine purpose? We are a 3-dimensional being for the most part. We're held together by vibration. The lower the vibration, the more dense the object. This apple is vibrating at a low frequency, so I can see it, hear it, feel it, smell it, taste it, and touch it. Now, my body, same thing. Although my body is much more dynamic because my heart is an electromagnetic drum. My brain is working on an electrostatic, electromagnetic frequency. So my body is generating a vibrational resonance, which very much on a micro scale mirrors the earth. Our body is like the actual earth in so many ways. I'll do a video about that. It'll rock your socks off. So the twin flame, love-seeking, soul-seeking, divine partnership, everybody is looking for something outside of themselves. Now, however, the thing is that you're getting very drawn into technology. Technology, the apple, not this apple, but the apple that you have in your hand, is creating a 2-dimensional vortex because technology is imitating spirit. If you haven't thought about it, think about it. Your phone, the internet, is like the all-seeing, the all-knowing, everywhere at once, all things at once, knows everything, can do anything, can be anywhere, can connect you to anyone wherever you are instantaneously. It is mimicking the spirit. However, the energy that it's pulling you into is a very 2-dimensional based energy, flat plane, because you're looking at something, you're not part of it. Your concepts, your thought is expanding on it, but your physicality is identifying with a flat surface. So you're very focused at something directly instead of everything. You're feeling connected, but through a conduit. That connection that you feel, ancient shaman, ancient Mayan shaman, ancient Sangomas, ancient Aborigines, when they used to do walkabouts, you could connect on higher levels. They could actually hear and see and feel and touch people from thousands of miles away on an ayahuasca journey. Now that's spirit technology, which is different. That's your higher self. That's the 5th dimension. Now, how do I go from 3D to 2D? I start focusing too much on technology. I pull away from the outside surroundings. I'm not grounded in the body. I haven't become a 3-dimensional master. So let me set this apple down so we can talk about it. To be a master of the 3D, you have to understand and embrace all the senses that you have. You have to become aware of your surroundings. You need to be very in tune that this is your vehicle, this is your vessel, and take care of it. That's why I say you are what you eat, you are what you see, you are what you say, you are what you do, you are what you listen to. All those things are doing those define your 3-dimensional space. They give you the ability to safely cross the 4th dimensional bridge, which is a bridge, into your higher self to begin seeing things through a higher level of love. Now, 3D. Start mastering it. Do your mirror work. I've talked to you religiously about this. I started my mirror work because I got my face crushed and I couldn't look in the mirror and see myself. This is good stuff. People talk about it down below. If you've done it, let people know how detrimental it is in the process of awakening. That click, that shift, that connection of source and self, your soul, through the conduit of seeing who you are, reintroducing yourself, being there for yourself, being your best friend, will help you in this ascension. That's when I said the answer is in the asking. Once you connect the source to yourself, you'll be able to see that in depth. You see what I'm saying? So, 3 dimensions. When you begin to bridge into the 3 dimensions and understand that tactility, when you begin to understand that and you begin to understand that the drive of what's making you go forward generally is pain or pleasure, then you're able to begin to facilitate that and control that. But then you begin to access things through the 4th dimension. The 4th dimension is a bridge. When I have my near-death experience, when people talk about going towards the light, when you're going towards the light, that's a bridge, a dimension, a being dimension. It's neither physical or spiritual. The 4th dimension is where you can access in the dream world. Edgar Cayce talked about it. It's where all the ideas are kept. It's the buffer of the higher self and the solid self. So kind of like your stomach is, your gut. Your gut is where your soul speaks, so that your head is bypassed, so that sometimes you're able to feel things intuitively. So in the 4th dimension, you're going to have a lot of empathic skills, a lot of intuition, a lot of imagination. You're going to do what I like to call Imagineering. I think Disney said that, where you're able to take an idea, facilitate it, and make it functional. Because when you're only 3D, when you're only living day to day and you're doing your daily grind, you're waking up, you're going to work, you're coming home, you're depressed, you're sleeping, and you can't get out of your own sadness, you can't get out of your own way, you're super solid, you're super 3D. And being super solid, super 3D is limiting you, because your ability to manifest is on the time cycle of not days and weeks, but years and decades. So when you begin to access this, you have to do the things that we're talking about, mirror work, you have to do mantras, you have to do mindfulness, you have to do meditation, you have to do visionary dreaming. So before you go to sleep, you need to start doing things where you are doing imagination exercises, where you're beginning to do like dream walk before you even go to sleep. So when you're sleeping, you're actually able to see things. You're doing visual exercises. You're creating alternative visions with your eyes closed while you're sitting there, while you're getting ready to drift off into sleep, so that your subconscious, your soul self, can take over, so that your higher self can begin to go into this bridge, 4th dimension, and download information. Now, you can encounter light and dark in that dimension, but let it be said, the 4th dimension is your access, your portal, your place of where you can find higher self. Now, when you're accessing that on a regular basis, you're going to begin to lighten your vibration. You're going to be able to start, you'll walk into a room and the room will actually radiate. People will begin to see you. You'll begin to see colors. You'll begin to see orbs. You'll begin to see different spiritual kind of occurrences. That means you're starting to bridge and you're starting to touch into the 5th dimension. The 5th dimension is a higher self. It's the source. It's the spirit. It's Christ consciousness. But to stay in there and to be 3-dimensional is a little dangerous, because you always know that the soul has incarnated itself into the body for a purpose. The purpose is to be in the world, not of the world. You heard that before, right? I don't have to say who quoted that one. So, in the world, not of the world. That means I'm being my body, I'm my 3-dimensional self, doing my daily activities, I'm making love, I'm making breakfast, I'm going about my day interacting. For those people that haven't elevated, I'm the example. Every moment I'm exercising that as an example. So my higher conscious self in the world is not of the world. Then I'm looking at things with Christ consciousness. I'm looking at everything as I am. I am the tree, I am the bird, I am the water, I am you, I am the camera, I am the car. You're in all things. When you're able to begin to embrace that concept, you're able to think outside the box being 3D, which we are in a box. That's why they say Pandora's box. When you open it, everything begins to exercise itself. Everything begins to take over. So once you open this, once you begin to ask these questions, Hold on. You have to start discovering the information and the knowledge to get you to where you need to be. Otherwise, it's going to be overwhelming, and you're going to feel, oh, there's a nice little car. You're going to feel overwhelmed. And when you feel overwhelmed, you're going to get bound up. You're going to get stuck. You're going to get stuck in a rut. A lot of people, even with the twin flame scenario, they're sitting in a place of suffering. Why? Because they're not allowing their suffering to become a place of salvation. They're not allowing their suffering to turn into service. They're not allowing that mindset of believing they need this other person 100% in their life front and center. That's not Christ consciousness. That's not the higher self. The higher self sees the person, sees the interest, sees the energy, understands that their energy is no longer separate from me. Their energy is inside of me. So that's your higher self. So the twin flame experience, even if you're not with your twin flame, or if you want to call it soulmate, like I said, I hate labels, but if you're not with that person, it's okay. You can be with another person and find a high level of love and interaction on a three-dimensional scope that will elevate you into the fifth dimension as well. But the thing is that don't get bogged down in all of these terms and technologies. Don't get bogged down in the 3D, the 4D, the 5D. What you need to focus on, if you've had an occurrence, someone's come into your life, or an experience has happened to you that has shaken you up, that has woken you up, you need to begin to understand this is the Creator calling you to a higher level of consciousness. This consciousness means that you need to begin to wake up. It means that you need to begin to see things around you with more purpose, more understanding. You can't start separating yourself and secluding yourself into a place of suffering, sabotaging the very soul essence that's sat down inside of you. Don't do it. It's dangerous. So as you go forward and you begin to bridge that gap and you begin to see that, even from the place of physics, when they talk about the higher self, or when they talk about neurons and protons, or they talk about electrons, they talk about the atomic structure of things, they talk about how an atom will be here and not, how it disappears, we don't know where it goes. So is your soul. It will bounce back and forth. You'll begin to be able to be here in the three-dimensional world. Your essence, your soul, will tap into the higher self, the fifth dimension. This conduit of the 4D will begin to open up this amazing energy for you. Your manifestation, your laws of attraction, your laws of love, my course, by the way, will begin to not be decades and years to manifest. It'll go into weeks and days, months. Then it'll actually go into hours. And then it'll actually go into minutes. So expand yourself. Don't get caught up in the details. Don't get caught up in the loopholes. The answer is in the asking. Always trust that which is inside of you. You've been engineered with every answer you need. Everything about your body is a filing cabinet. It's a filing cabinet of information that will help you move forward effectively. I will help you. All my other people that I work with will help you. There's so many people out here that are standing up, that are taking a stand, that are trying to help you access this Christ consciousness. But understand, you already have it. It's just about remembering that you do. When in doubt, believe that you are all things. You're not alone. If you're suffering, begin to do service. Begin to see yourself in all things. Access the higher self through the Christ consciousness. This will open up new opportunities for you, new open doors. Do something different every day. Begin to read and exercise, but you have to become mindful. You have to do mantras. You have to do mirror work. You have to connect the soul to yourself. You've been disconnected for too long. Your soul is anxious to get that conduit open. You've been called to a higher level of consciousness. If you can begin to do this, you're going to begin to change the people around you. You're going to begin to change the things around you. And this grassroots movement that I've been speaking of, that so many people have been talking about, is going to catch fire. We're all going to begin to raise consciousness in the very place we are. It's not about saving the world. It's about seeing yourself and about seeing yourself in the world. Then as you begin to see yourself in the world, everything around you begins to shift and change. When these things begin to shift and change, it rearranges the structure of the vibrational patterns around you. People start waking up and becoming aware just because you are. Just because you're an example of what you can exercise as an evolved being. Now, I've just stream of consciousness all of this, so if you have any questions about it, I will answer them. I'm doing live master classes every Sunday. Go to divinelove-academy.com. The links are below. If you want to get involved in the master class, I've set it up so that you can. I made it affordable. It's less than a cup of coffee a day. and we'll do it there. We'll talk about these things. We're going to talk about the laws of love, which is how to apply the law of attraction into what we're doing here. It's how to awaken yourself through Christ consciousness. It's about the twin flame situation. What is that? How does it apply? It's about energetics, and then I go into the energetics for the week ahead. It's going to be great. We just had our first session. I recorded it on Friday, and it's going to be fabulous. It's airing tomorrow. So next Sunday you can get involved. If you need anything, if you need any answers, contact me through Divine Love Academy. Peace, light, and love. I will see you on the other side and on the inside.